Hey everybody. Um, I'd like to first start off with the fact that I found out about the Trump verdict, 34 counts. Wow, that's so great. I don't think he's going to do any time. I think he's going to find some kind of permission to. Okay, first I'd also like to apologize for the noise that you're hearing. I got a fan going on, and I've actually got two fans going on right now. But which is the reason why I'm also talking this loud. Yeah, I don't think Trump's going to be doing the jail time, though. He's going to find some kind of permission to go on some kind of in-house lockdown or something like that, and it's probably going to be done in Florida, where his Mar-a-Lago estate is. And if there's any jail time or prison time for any one of his... First off, none of his crimes, I think, were federal offenses. I think they're just regular crimes. But still, he's more than likely going to try to dodge the law. Honestly, I think if there's anything that requires him to do federal time, I still got money betting that he's going to pull an Edward Snowden and that he's just going to take off to another country. Or if not Russia itself, just like Edward Snowden. I still got money on that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see. First former president and all this good stuff, going through a bunch of crap after doing a bunch of crap. Okay, the next subject: what in the world is going on with all these sex offenders in our schools? This entire month, I've been trying to find something politically to talk about, or some kind of socialite thing to talk about, or whatever to talk about. And I've just been looking at this, one sex crime after another. And it's just mind-boggling to me. What are these people thinking? You got men and women getting it on with their their students. I don't get it. I think, but at the same time, I'm going to have to say, as a realist, I'm acknowledging that these are the things that we got to now look out for, no differently than everything other danger that exists, that we've all known existed, and is something that is now becoming the new norm. Police brutality is one of them. Even I was taught what little kids are being taught right now, okay? That the police are there to protect and serve the public, even though technically you might come across a cop that won't protect and serve you, okay? They're here to protect and serve, despite the fact that you might come across a cop that won't protect or serve you, okay? He's a danger. He will be a danger. He will be a threat. Okay? Now, I grew up learning this because of the origins of where we came from. The west side of the city, where it was a little bit more dangerous. And even the law can get frustrated and pull out the billy club and start knocking you around, even if you didn't do anything. It's happened. And these days, it happens still. But it's a whole lot more deadlier. Kids are getting shot, And it's a little bit more traumatizing. If they're not getting shot, it's a little bit more traumatizing, even if they're not getting beat up. Special needs kids getting arrested and what have you. I mean, that's just horrible. Special needs, which goes right back to the schools. What the hell's going on with these schools? What's going on with these offenders? These sex offenders, these kids that are beating them. There was two 10-year-old kids that were fighting. They were scuffling after competing with each other with water guns on a park. And some dude stepped up and started strangling one of them, telling him to calm down or knock it off or whatever. And then at school, and I think in this very same city, in this state, in Washington, because this isn't just happening here, it's happening all over the U.S. You had a child, you had special needs kids being mocked and yelled at, for no reason whatsoever, because they're special needs kids, and that teacher just flipped on them and was just being this very cruel person. And the only way we all found out, the only way the public found out, was because one of the kids' moms activated the recorder on the iPad that the kid does the schoolwork on, and the kid, unbeknowingly to I think his or herself, recorded that teacher being this total bitch to all of the students, including her kid. And then you had another one in Los Angeles, or I don't know, Los Angeles, it was in California, where teachers were openly mocking a child with a certain condition, where they did the whole, what we all used to call retard hands, the loose hands and the waving of the hands and all this stuff. Back when retard was really the only way we described them. But you had a teacher mocking that kid in front of other students and another teacher, and they were all just having a blast ridiculing that kid. And then just right before I started this recording, I saw 11 hours ago there was a broadcast on, oh man, I forgot what city it was. Well, I don't think it really matters. It's just the simple fact that it's going on. This teacher got busted with a student. Okay? Now granted, it was a 17-year-old, so the kid is almost an adult by law. Nevertheless, we're talking about a teacher and student relations. Okay? Completely inappropriate. Harassment. And even if it wasn't harassment, let's say it was grooming, okay, we're still talking about crossing a line that is no longer looked at as just a fling or just or whatever, because in my day there was a little bit of an occasional affair, but the big thing that we had to worry about was that student. That student being seduced by a male teacher, impregnating her. Okay? The big worry back then was also if it was a boy that was seduced by a teacher, a female teacher, whether or not he's going to be labeled a father 6 months down the line. Okay? In my day, those were the big worries. There was nothing really traumatic about it. Okay, it was technically casual sex. And if they were gay, then we all just turned the other way. Because they're gay. It's what they do. Things are just, and that's another thing. We're talking about the seriousness of it all because of the simple fact that these days it's a whole lot more reality hitting. Okay, I'm confessing something right now. It wasn't a teacher, it was another man's wife, twice my age. I was 14, and I fell in love. Okay, I fell in love. When it turns out when she left me and coming to grips with herself, she realized, coming to grips with herself, that she just didn't want to leave her husband. She just really wanted to stop feeling so horrible the way her husband was making her feel. It was an ugly reality, and it crushed, it destroyed my confidence completely. But in a way, I kind of, when she left, I kind of avoided a huge problem, that could have just, done some kind of damage to me mentally upstairs. But for the most part, it was just a broken heart. And that's the kind of thing that is going far beyond anything broken heart. It's going psychological detrimental upstairs for the kids nowadays. You know, everybody says all kids are lazy, kids are this, kids are that. I feel sorry for the kids these days. Kids these days are getting it worse. It's getting harder and harder on them. So, I mean, it's, and now it's coming a whole lot more criminalistic, okay? It's more than just the standard statutory rape where a guy is dating a kid and, you know, oh, you got to go to behind bars and, you know, let the kid go and all this stuff, let them go back to being kids. Nowadays, we're finding out it's a lot more detrimental than that, okay? There's a little bit of trauma. There's more abuses out of these things, certain attacks, drug influenced, you know, setups to being sold on the street, and sometimes just plain awful attacks. Okay, you know, not that it's worse than being trafficked in any way, shape, or form. You know, but these things happen, and they're getting more and more serious. All of these things these days are a whole lot more serious. You know, and honestly, I think and despite it sounds bad, I do apologize, but to normalize this is a bad thing. However, it is very important that we now, much like with the cops, we now tell our kids, you know, the teacher will teach you to learn and get you scholastically ready for, you know, your future. But there will be temptations that he or she will face into ruining yours. Okay? This is the new thing that parents has to do. Okay? This is the new quote that the parents has to do. And it only makes sense given the fact that we're looking at, you know, after this entire month of going through case after case after case after case, it's pretty serious because it's a wide range of dangers that have led to some to just as many wide ranges of serious repercussions. Okay, it's just that serious nowadays that we have to include it. You know, a boy getting seduced by his teacher, you can't pat him on the back anymore. You can't pat him on the shoulder. That's my man, you know, that's a good boy. You know, you can't do that anymore. It's just too dangerous in this day and age. A girl seduced by a teacher, getting caught with a teacher, you know, you can't just shake your finger at her anymore. Stop being naughty, little lady. You know, you just can't do that anymore. The teachers are now huge predators now. They're just very serious. And it's more than just the girl getting curious with an adult. And I understand that, seeing as how even today, I think it's called Miller's Girl. This year, 2024, there's a story of a student getting inappropriate with a teacher. Okay, and I understand that, but what we also have to, that goes back to the other thing, kids. It's just a movie. It's not real. Don't let it be real in your life. Okay? Don't make that happen in your life. And I'll throw in this little influence thing in there, just this little bit. I grew up watching the A-Team on a weekly basis, where machine guns were being shot all the time, almost every episode. And I grew up rocking to Ozzy Osbourne. Something that I was always told was a hell-worthy trespass. Okay, for listening to Ozzy, I was called a satanic worshiper. I was called the devil worshiper. I was categorized as something that bad. Okay? But to this day, I still don't shoot off a machine gun in public. I've owned a gun. It was a pistol, a Taurus. But I had to sell it to make rent one day. So I went sold it to a neighbor who wound up losing it when he crashed his vehicle, and he left one open container in his truck. And the cop came, saw him. You okay, son? Saw the open container. Got to check your vehicle. Why is that container? How many more vehicles? Hey, what's with that gun? And it all got confiscated. He had it for 1 week. But anyway, I've shot a gun, but I've shot it appropriately. I've never shot up a public place, and I've never bitten the heads off of little animals. Okay? I've never killed them, and I've never slaughtered. I've never sacrificed. I've never done anything like that. So when you get a movie, back to that influence thing, when you cut movies like this Miller's Girl and or any other thing that I'm not aware of. I just recently found out about that movie too. I'm too busy working for a living, you know. When you come to that kind of media entertainment, you can't let that fool you either. You can't let that influence you. You can't let that influence you. You got to have that as a rule of thumb. No differently than the teacher is there to educate you and help you with your future, despite the fact that there's temptations that he might ruin yours. You know, and that goes right along with the cop rule of thumb. Okay? You know, the police are here to serve, protect, and serve, even though there might be a cop that won't protect and serve you. It happens. Okay? And back to that, the subject that originally started on there. Until everybody's crap is straightened out, until our political leaders can stop doing what my worthless governor is doing, looking the other way, and installing locks on doors for your safety. Look, I'm sorry. It's just dumb. You can't expect our political leaders to do something about it. You know, not even our spiritual leaders. We all found that out through the Catholic scandals. Okay? Until that time, you know, we got to keep resorting to the rules of thumb in life. And I thank you all so much for hearing me out. I just got to get that off my chest. Thank you so much for hearing me out. And I hope you all are doing well. I've also noticed a couple of shootings throughout Memorial Day weekend. I really wish there wasn't. I really wish we could all, you know, I mean, Memorial Day weekend, it was for the fallen soldiers. Schmucks. But, yeah, I hope that y'all keep taking care of yourselves. And that y'all keep doing good. Graduations are coming. So stay cool and keep a level head. Stay safe. You know, see that niece or nephew of yours that's getting that's going to be walking down the aisle, getting his or her diploma. And tell them to just, you know, stay level headed. You know, they made it this far to start making their own future. Take the time to remind them of that. It's not worth it. You know, it's not worth it. And if they're invited or if they've got something planned to go to events, spring break, whatever, not spring break, summer break, go to the beach, go to a city to party. It's cool. It's cool. It's no different than what I used to do 30 years ago. I'm in my 50s now. It's no different than what I used to do 30 years ago. But be careful. be careful. And as I've always said, every time there's a shooting in a public place, you know, or whenever you're in a public place, look for hiding spots. Look for hiding spots, because a shooter usually doesn't shoot at people that they can't see. They only shoot it down the ways with people that they can. Okay? Look for hiding spots wherever you're going, whatever restaurant, whatever shopping store, whatever outlet mall, inlet mall, concert, event, festival. You know, we got some summer festivals coming, we got some summer jams coming. You know? Who are we to tell them that they can't go? But we can advise them to just keep an eye out. Alright, I'm going to stop right now, and I wish you all the best of everything. At the time of this recording, it's a Saturday, so I hope the rest of your weekend is great. And we'll see you all next time. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, a show of common sense on common ground, signing out.